Hey, hi, good morning guys. Happy Friday. Welcome to Bet Motorsports, or welcome back to Bet Motorsports. Today we're going to be talking all about oil leaks. So if you're going on a trip, if you just came back from a trip, if you've got oil in your driveway, let's figure out where it might be coming from. We're going to be talking about that with Mr. Dave.
I'm Dave, you know me by now. We're gonna get into all the leaks, but the axle leaks I think are the most important that we're gonna cover.
Yeah, that one is definitely a widely misunderstood thing. So let's get into it.
All right, let's start from the front and work our way to the back. First spot you're gonna look is right down here, right here. This one has a CV style. Some of yours will have a U-joint, but right here in this cup is where you're gonna see oil.
And that is what will indicate an oil.
Yeah, Carlos, that's a Carlos.
Sorry, continue.
So if you've got oil there, gear oil, that's an axle seal leak. And those axle seals are, wait.
Okay, where is the axle seals?
So if you see that oil out there, it's because the axle seals in here on either side of the carrier are leaking and it's traveling down the tube and out. So in order to change those seals, we have to actually pull the tie rod, we have to pull this cover, we have to pull the brakes and the axle, and everything has to come out on both sides in order to get the carrier out so that we can expose those seals and press the new ones. So it's fairly labor intensive because most of the front end comes apart just to change those.
So not a super friendly at-home job, something you'd probably take to a professional?
Yeah, I would definitely take it in. We have a special tool that we use to press those seals in and get them right so they don't leak again. A lot of times when you're installing the new axle or putting the axle back into the new seal, you'll clip it and it'll start leaking again right away. So
it's easy to do.
Easy to do. So if you like aggravating things, go for it, do it yourself. If you don't, let us do it for you. So the next section you're going to look at is if you've got any drips down the center of your vehicle, and obviously everybody knows engine, transmission, transfer case. Those are the three things that are going to leak in this area. So if you don't have any skid plates, this vehicle luckily has just factory skids on it. And so we can see real easy the oil pan, we can see where the bell housing matches the engine, we can see the transmission pan, and we can see the transfer case way back here. So depending on if you've got some reddish, pinkish fluid, you know, that could be a transmission that's dripping. It could be coming from the bell housing. From the bell housing, you can either get transmission fluid or oil, depending on if it's a rear main seal or the front seal of the transmission. So anywhere in that area. Oil is pretty obviously, black, sometimes gold if it was brand new, freshly put in. And then transfer cases differ on vehicles. Some of them take automatic transmission fluids, some of them take gear oil, some of them take specialty oils that are just, it could just vary. So anything from, oil pan to transfer case, if you've got leaks around here, that's going to be something in that main drivetrain that you're going to want to look at and just start tracing it back up. Try to find it. A real common one on the JKs or anything with the 3.6 Pentastar, so even the JLs, is the oil cooler, which is under the manifold, and that's where you have the oil filter cap that screws on. That section is plastic and it warps and cracks and breaks over time, and then you'll get a leak at the back of the engine coming all the way from the top. They do have aftermarket aluminum ones that you can install. All right, let's go to the back. All right, so unlike the front, the rear axles actually seal at the end. And if you get a leak, it's going to be similar to the front. You're going to see it on your wheel and tire, and it's going to be dripping out of the back of the backing plate on your brakes. Those seals, to take them out and replace them, you have to remove the axle from the tube, and the bearing and the seal and everything are pressed on to the axle, and then there's a retainer. That retainer has to be cut off, removed. Everything comes off to put a new seal on. So when you do the seals on the rear, you generally do the bearings as well. This repackage the whole axle. So unless you have a good press and a lot of good equipment, you're not going to want to do this at home either. I'm not saying you can't. You can definitely, if you're savvy, you can get it done, but it's a pain in the butt a little bit. On the Jeeps, it's real easy because the axle, we don't have to do anything here at the center diff. Axles just pull out from the side, but if you've got a Ford or anything, a lot of those vehicles have C-clips, and you would have to access them through here. So there's an extra step on anybody who's got, if you've converted your rear of your TJ to an 8.8 or something, it's going to have a C-clip in it. Sometimes those axles don't want to just pull out, and so you have to use a slide hammer and get them freed to come out. So just another tool that you might have to have if you're doing this at home. The reason the seals on these are on the outside edge is because there is a bearing back there, right? So the oil from your differential has to travel down the tube to lubricate those bearings that are on the outside. The front doesn't have that. The front has the CVs or the U-joints because they steer. So that's what the main difference is from front to rear.
So whether it's your daily driver or your weekend wheeler, those are all the most common spots that you might spot oil in the driveway. If it's not something that you're confident tackling at home, I know a guy that can help you out.
We can do it.
All right, guys, thanks for watching. Happy Friday. See you next Friday.
Axle seals are way, Carlos, way over on the carrier. And God, it's another dog.